Oh my goodness! Campaign 3, Episode 3 of Critical Role. Boom! My name is Noah, this is Table Ready, and here is the Critical Review, where I critically review every episode of Campaign 3. All of my reviews and ratings should be taken with the same amount of levity as a Sam Riegel ad. Yeah, this week's was definitely a 9 out of 10. Be careful though, because this next episode is full of... Hey critters, how you doing? You holding up okay? I hope so. When I was trying to write the review for this episode, I was struggling to think about anything other than the ending because holy last 10 minutes, Batman. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through a really quick overview. After that, I'll return to some great role-playing moments, some cool things I think are happening behind the scenes, and some ratings inside of the episode. Then we're gonna sit down and have a conversation about what is going on. We start off the game with the party being split. Team Backdoor gets involved and heads up to the front. Ashton gets pretty impatient, wants to just break into this place and find what they can because he believes that nothing's going on inside. This is actually kind of true. While this is going on, Berchin and Imogen are stalking Danis, and Imogen kind of gets caught. We see that she's very adept at lying, but she's still been seen, so Bertrand takes over. Bell haphazardly disguises himself and follows Danis into the Wee Wee Way Tavern. Imogen and Bell are utterly helpless to gain any information and ultimately end up heading back to the textile shop to meet up with everyone else. It kind of sucks, but the dice be the dice. Once united inside of the office of Danis, the party finds inventory logs that have been forged. Imogen uses the handwriting from a ledger nearby to compare it to those of the forged documents used to make it look like there's less inventory here than there actually is, and finds out that in fact Danis is the one behind this. The party takes this information and heads back to the Weary Way Tavern to see if they can't find this shady halfling. And Dorian ends up chatting up some of the local musicians to get the information on where this halfling is. Upstairs, detect thoughts by fresh cut grass allows them to hear, or at least detect where thoughts may be, and Matt gives them a little bonus of recognition of the thought patterns of Danis. Danis is there with 9 others, I believe, maybe 8. Orm leans in to listen and hear what's going on. Beyond the door, the party hears Danis talking to some shady crime boss. Danis is raising suspicions about the party coming to the textile shop. Maybe someone's on to them. The shady figure speaks in a grumbly, nasty voice.
Because you cannot be trusted to keep your mouth shut. Because you are incapable of handling yourself. Tell me, should I be uncomfortable as well? Dennis, I appreciate your contributions. I will be no longer requiring your services.
Orm senses that Danis is in danger and just starts thinking she's in danger, she's in danger. I'm assuming to communicate with Imogen if she's listening. He kicks in the door, or at least he tries. Takes a couple slashes, not able to break through the door before Danis is struck down and killed. The party eventually breaks into the room to fight whatever they find there, and what they do find is a dark, creepy dwarf with long blades and his team of shadow creepers. Dark, hooded, small creatures that explode upon death. Eventually, the party is able to overcome most of the creatures, except the dwarf, who got away. The party rushes to do something with the body of Danis, because they don't want to be framed for Danis' murder. Able to escape unnoticed, as far as they can tell. Make their way all the way back to Estros' estate with the body of Danis. Estros accepts the job as complete and pays the party 150 gold pieces plus a 50 gold piece bonus. Another bonus that he gives the party is cake. He is a hobby baker that's not very good. I'm loving Estros more and more, even though I still suspect shady behavior. And it seems that Marisha does too. She keeps inside checking him, and to great avail. It's at this point that the party wants to lick their wounds, get some rest, and celebrate a little bit. So they head to the other tavern in order to do so. Bell buys the party drinks. Hell, he buys the bar drinks. Everybody's having a great time, and some are feeling like they need to just go home and get some rest, so they start to split off in their own directions. Travis's role-playing of Bertrand, easily a 9 out of 10, and I would say a 10 out of 10 if you combine that with Dorian's performance in the bar. It was really incredible. I honestly felt like the moment of his death didn't live up to what Bertrand and what Travis could do in that moment. The entire cast helps Laudna to communicate telepathically by echoing everything she says in this creepy, whispering voice to really bring the impact of her undead communication. Super method.
10 out of 10.
There's a moment between Ashton and Fresh Cut Grass where they talk about the purpose of a soul touched. And it does get Ashton to open up a little bit, and turns out that there's a good amount of debt and definitely a hole dug for Ashton by barbarian hands. This is a great moment. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for roleplay. On the topic of Ashton, seems as though Taliesin has made the most complicated barbarian I've ever heard of. During combat, he ends up rolling a chaos die, which does, I think, 1d8 elemental damage. It did lightning damage, but it did seem as though it could have been something else. Hence the chaos. 8 out of 10 on grabbing my interest, but I am concerned that it might be overpowered. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Dorian and Imogen pretending to be lovers, 7 out of 10. Them inviting the bouncers to join in, 9 out of 10. I'm sure that there were some conversations in the background that this would happen, but I gotta say, his death felt forced. From a DM's perspective, the moment was great, but it did feel like we were on both sides of the line of this is thematically important and must happen, and there's a chance that this won't happen with dice being rolled. Bell was alert, he had his weapon drawn. I have no doubts that Bell would have still died even if they had a short, quick combat. It could have even been a quick roll for initiative, but that would have broken immersion. I'm not sure where I land on this, except that you can kind of see behind the curtain in this moment. That included with the fact that it was a little hard to understand what was going on with Imogen's connection here. I had to go back and watch it a second time to really gather that she was seeing a dying Bertrand in her dreams. I'm gonna have to give this moment a 6 out of 10 on execution, but a 9 out of 10 on intention. I still love the moment after going back to watch it, but live, it was like 2 in the morning and I just couldn't process it. Travis, you role-played the hell out of Bell this entire episode. I can't believe how believable and lovable, endearing you made him and how well you set up his fall. The fact that you made him die on top with dignity was the greatest part of it all. For that, Travis and Bertrand, you get a 10 out of 10. We're gonna have to say goodbye, probably, to Bertrand, Sir Bertrand Bell. And I think I will tonight. With a glass of whiskey, who knows, maybe I'll get to watch the sunrise. You know how you can get a 10 out of 10? By making a mage hand out of that like button, chill, touching the subscribe button, and then leaving a comment below with what I missed, what you liked more than I liked, what you saw that you didn't like so much. The whole point of this is to make conversations happen with critters that I like. And yeah, we're a small channel, so every comment and like and subscribe, it really does help. Thanks. Till next week. Slaudna. Whoo! Slaudna cast her spell dark and crispy whispers. Crispy whispers?